Vertical rope number 1, the lock climb. Let's watch as our performer demonstrates. He externally rotates the right leg to form a gap so that his left heel goes into the lock. The primary purpose of the lock climb is to climb a rope using the legs, not the arms. The performer starts by addressing the rope, raising his right knee high above his waist, running the rope across his right shin. Keeping his right toe pointed up, he leans back and raises his right leg up high. Notice the gap formed between his right knee and the rope. His left leg comes around the rope on top and steps down into that gap. Squeezing his feet together, he extends his legs fully and walks his arms up the rope. Again, the focus is on using the legs, not the arms. The performer calls out the number of locks as he climbs up the rope.
3 locks. 4 locks. 5 locks. Sir, first trip, 5 locks.
Once the performer has reached the top with both hands clearly above the top red mark, he hooks an arm and gets an instructor's attention. He then loosens his grip slightly with his feet, descends the rope hand over hand in a modified lock position. Upon reaching the ground, the performer lightly taps the ground and proceeds back up the rope. Depending upon the number of locks and the number of trips the performer makes, he can earn between 1 and 5 points on this event. Let's take another look at the address. Notice how the right knee is high above the waist and a gap is formed between the right knee and the rope, while the rope runs across the top of the right ankle. While firmly grasping the rope with both hands, the left leg comes around the top of the rope and the left heel steps down into the gap formed between the right leg and the rope. Here is another view of the same motion. Notice how the left leg has come around the top of the rope and is about to step down into the gap between the right leg and the rope. Once the left heel is firmly seated in this gap, the rope will form an S shape between the feet. Pinch the feet together and form friction, which causes the rope to lock between the feet. From the side, the performer should look as if they're seated in a chair. Once the lock is firmly in place, the performer will stand up straight, extending his legs fully and hooking an arm, showing that only the lock is holding him on the rope. One last point to emphasize is that when the performer comes down from his first trip, only one foot touches a light tap on the floor before proceeding back up for a second trip.